There we go. And I want you to see, everybody, let me see, that this was done in, where is the date on this? 2019. Understand, 2019. And let's select it all. Select all, gotta go here. And let's just do this. Begin to speak it. Speaking it.
Of Public Instruction, Southern Nevada, Office 2080 East Flamingo Road, Suite 210, Las Vegas, Nevada 89,119 0811 702 Into Public Instruction, Southern 58 Fax 702-486-6450 Guidance Memorandum Number 1908 State of Nevada Department of Education 700 East 5th Street, Box Drawings Light Vertical, Carson City, Nevada 89,701 5096 775 687 9200 Box Drawings Light Vertical www.do.nv.gov Box Drawings Light Vertical Fax 775-687-91012 From date, subject, introduction. During the 2019 legislative session, a number of bills were passed related to ensuring a safe and respectful learning environment. Assembly Bill 168, AB 168, was one such bill, and its requirements change current statute regarding school discipline to reflect practices related to restorative justice. Restorative justice recognizes school districts' efforts to create equitable systems where teaching positive behaviors. Preparing this guidance memo includes the following sections regarding implementing AB 168 and other relevant legislation from the 2019 session. Background and purpose. Statutory requirements. Dates and deadlines for schools and districts. Bullet timeline for implementation. Definitions, background, and purpose. When the federal Every Student Succeeds Act (ESSA) was enacted, it brought renewed commitment by states and districts to safe learning environments that provide learning opportunities for all students while promoting academic excellence and equity. ESSA accelerated a trend that was already underway in some states and districts to move away from zero-tolerance discipline policies and toward more positive approaches to addressing student behavior. AB 168 builds on this trend by altering state expectations regarding districts' approach to student discipline. In many ways, AB 168 supports positive practices already in place in Nevada's districts and schools. Restorative justice is an alternative to exclusionary disciplinary practices, which remove students from the academic environment. Instead, restorative justice seeks to repair the harm done when a standard of conduct is violated. In its September 2014 publication titled Restorative Justice Overview, the American Association of School Superintendents reported that a local education agency's Joan M. Ebert, Superintendent of Public Instruction, October 22, 2019 updates to discipline laws, data reporting requirements, and restorative justice practices per the 80th session of the Nevada Legislature, 2019. Rather than removing students, the norm is relationships and increasing accountability through reversing harm. Page 1 of 8. Restorative approach often requires a cultural shift for the entire school community. Educators must shift to see students as persons deserving of the opportunity to correct their wrongdoings and to learn from their mistakes, rather than as children in need of reprimand. This approach is rooted in positive relationships and behavior and helps create a supportive environment where students thrive personally and academically. The expectations of AB 168 reflect that professional learning will be vital to successful implementation and must necessarily include district boards of trustees, superintendents, principals, and educational and support personnel, as well as students, parents, and guardians. Districts are encouraged to consult with local counsel as they implement the provisions of AB 168 and SB 89. Statutory requirements. The major components of the changes under AB 168 can be understood as a set of student-level changes and systems changes. Student-level changes. 1. changes to discipline laws for all students, including restrictions on suspending and expelling students who are not more than 10 years of age, and 2. Changes to discipline laws for students in a program receiving special education services under an individualized education program, IEP, including some additional restrictions on suspending and expelling such students. Systems changes. 3. Shift from progressive discipline school-wide plans to restorative discipline district-wide plans, and 4. Changes to data collection and reporting regarding student discipline and attendance. Specific student level and systems changes are described in more detail below. In addition, the attachment student level changes of discipline laws may serve as a helpful reference. Student level changes. 1. Changes to discipline laws for all students, suspension or expulsion. Only students who are at least 11 years old may be removed from a school, suspended, or expelled, with the following exceptions. A general education student in possession of a firearm or dangerous weapon, NRS 392.466.3, or under extraordinary circumstances, in which case a school may request an exception to this prohibition from the District Board of Trustees, NRS 392.466.9, NRS 392.467.1. District Superintendent modification of suspension or expulsion. A district superintendent may, for a good cause shown in a particular case in that school district, allow modification to a suspension or expulsion made pursuant to sections 1.5 of NRS 392.466, if such modification is set forth in the intent of this memo is to support district's implementation of AB 168 and is not meant to expand, minimize, or interpret the law. Page 2 of 8. Writing. If the superintendent determines that a plan of action based on restorative justice may be used successfully, the superintendent must allow the modification, NRS 392.466.7. Removal solely based on attendance not permitted. A student may not be expelled, suspended, or removed solely for offenses related to attendance or if the student has been deemed a truant or habitual truant, NRS 392.467.5. Plan of action based on restorative justice prior to removal of a student. Bullet. A school must provide a plan of action based on restorative justice prior to the expulsion of any student, NRS 392. New section. A school must provide a plan of action based on restorative justice prior to the removal of a student for 1. Committing a battery that results in bodily injury of an employee or 2. Sale distribution of controlled substances, NRS 392.466.1. A school must make a reasonable effort to complete a plan of action based on restorative justice prior to the suspension or expulsion of a student deemed a habitual disciplinary problem, NRS 392.466.5. See attached sample plan of action based on restorative justice. Battery or sale distribution of controlled substances, NRS 392.466.1. If a student, 1, commits battery that results in bodily injury of an employee, or 2, sells or distributes any controlled substance on school grounds, a school bus, or at a school-sponsored activity and is at least 11 years old, the student must meet with the school and the parents' guardians, and the school must provide a plan of action based on restorative justice to the parents' guardians, and the student may, but no longer must, be expelled, NRS 392.466.1. Existing requirements for enrollment elsewhere remain if the student is expelled, NRS 392.466.1. If a student has committed battery of an employee of a school, the employee may appeal the plan of action based on restorative justice if 1. The employee feels that any actions taken pursuant to that plan are inappropriate, and 2. For a special education student, The Board of Trustees has reviewed the circumstances and determined that the appeal is in compliance with Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, NRS 392.466.2. Possession of a firearm or dangerous weapon, NRS 392.466.3. A student who is found to be in possession of a firearm or a dangerous weapon may be removed from the school immediately upon being given an explanation of the reasons for the removal and pending proceedings, NRS 392.467.2. The first occurrence of possession of a firearm or a dangerous weapon, as defined in NRS 392.466.11, B and C, still requires a mandatory 1-year minimum expulsion or placement in another kind of school for a period not to exceed the period of the expulsion. A second occurrence still requires permanent expulsion from the school, NRS 392.466.3. Existing requirements for enrollment elsewhere remain if the student is expelled, NRS 392.466.3. Page 3 of 8. Removal to another school, NRS 392.466.4. If a school is unable to retain a student due to safety concerns or if it is not in the best interest of the student may be suspended, expelled, or, now under AB 168, placed in another school for offenses outlined in NRS 392.466. If placement in another school is made, the current school of the student shall explain what services will be provided to the student at the new school that the current school is unable to provide to address the specific needs and behaviors of the student. The district of the originating school must coordinate with the receiving school and or district to create a plan of action based on restorative justice and to ensure that the receiving school has the resources required to execute that plan of action. Habitual disciplinary problem, NRS 392.466.5. If a student is suspended, the school shall develop a plan of behavior for the student in consultation with the student and the parents, guardians of the student. The plan must be designed to prevent the student from being deemed a habitual disciplinary problem, NRS 392.4655.5. Parents, guardians may choose to have their student not participate in the behavior plan that must be developed. NRS 392.4655.5. If the parents, guardians opt their student out of participating in the behavior plan, the school must inform them of the consequences of not participating, e.g., that the student may be deemed to be a habitual disciplinary problem, NRS 392.4655.5. If a student is deemed to be a habitual disciplinary problem and is at least 11 years old, the student may be suspended for a period not to exceed 1 semester or may be expelled under extraordinary circumstances as determined by the principal, if and only if the school has made a reasonable effort to complete the plan of action based on restorative justice, NRS 392.466.1. Existing requirements for enrollment elsewhere remain if the student is expelled, NRS 392.466.1. Student charged with a crime, NRS 392.467.3. If a student has been charged with a crime, the district board of trustees may authorize the expulsion, suspension, or removal of a student regardless of the outcome of criminal or delinquency proceedings only if the school 1. Conducts an independent investigation of the student's conduct, and 2. Gives notice to the student of the charges brought by the school against the student. Although the statute indicates that the board may authorize the suspension or expulsion of a student, it should not be interpreted to require board action for each suspension and or expulsion, unless the board policy so requires. Attorney General Opinion 9721. 2. Changes to discipline laws for students who receive special education services in accordance with an individualized education program, IEP, suspension or expulsion, page 4 of 8. A student with an IEP who is at least 11 years old may be removed from a school, suspended, or expelled only after the district board of trustees has reviewed the circumstances and determined that the action is in compliance with the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, NRS 392.466.10, NRS 392.467.6, except in the case of possession of a firearm or dangerous weapon by a student, which is described below. Suspension of a student with an IEP is limited to 1 to 5 days for each occurrence of misconduct, NRS 392.466.10, NRS 392.467.6. As with general education students, a student with an IEP who is younger than 11 years old must not be permanently expelled except under extraordinary circumstances, in which case a school may request an exception to this prohibition from the District Board of Trustees, NRS 392.466.9, NRS 392.467.1. Battery or sale distribution of controlled substances, NRS 392.466.1. If a student with an IEP has committed battery of an employee of a school, the employee may appeal the plan of action based on restorative justice if 1. The employee feels that any actions taken pursuant to that plan are inappropriate, and 2. The Board of Trustees has reviewed the circumstances and determined that the appeal is in compliance with Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, NRS 392.466.2. Possession of a firearm or dangerous weapon, NRS 392.466.3. A student with an IEP who is at least 11 years old who is found to be in possession of a firearm or a dangerous weapon may be removed from the school immediately upon being given an explanation of the reasons for their removal and pending proceedings. A student with an IEP who is 10 years old or younger cannot be removed from school immediately. This age limitation does not apply to general education students. Systems changes. 3. District Restorative Discipline Plans, formerly Site Progressive Discipline Plans, as required by NRS 392.4644, which was amended by both AB 168 and SB 89. Per AB 168. The requirement for establishment of a plan to provide for the restorative discipline of students and on-site review of disciplinary decisions is now at the District Board of Trustees level rather than at the principal level, as it had been previously. The plan must be developed with input and participation of teachers, school administrators, and other educational and support personnel, and the parents, guardians of students enrolled in schools within the district, and will include provisions designed to address the specific disciplinary needs and concerns of each school within the district. Additions to the District Restorative Discipline Plan per AB 168 and SB 89. The plan must provide for placement at a different school in accordance with NRS 392.466. Including all new changes additions resulting from AB 168 and SB 89. Page 5 of 8. Per SB 89, the plan may allow for assignment to a temporary alternative placement, now reads may rather than require it. Former language was must. Principal review and distribution of the District Restorative Discipline Plan. Each principal must review the District Restorative Discipline Plan in consultation with recommendations of teachers, school administrators, other educational and support personnel, parents, guardians, and students who are enrolled in the school, and THO on or before September 15th of each year, make recommendations for revisions to the District Board of Trustees, and post the plan on the school's website, and distribute a copy of the plan, written or electronic, to each teacher, school administrator, and all educational and support personnel who are employed at or assigned to the school. Note: The requirement for a district restorative discipline plan, formerly progressive discipline plan, pursuant to NRS 392.4644, is an entirely separate requirement from the plan of action based on restorative justice that must be provided in certain circumstances before removing a student from school. 4. Changes to data collection and reporting on student discipline and attendance. The Nevada Department of Education has provided a sample template attached to support compliance with new data collection and reporting requirements in advance of the vendor-approved data collection template. Templates for reporting requirements that are not related to the state's accountability framework will be provided by NVE for the 2019-20 school year. These include but are not limited to the requirements of AB 114, AB 261, AB 378, and SB 89. The following changes have been made to the requirements for collecting and reporting of student discipline and attendance data per Assembly Bill 168. Each public school, including charter schools, must collect data on student discipline, including the number of expulsions and suspensions and the number of placements of students in another school. The discipline data must be disaggregated into subgroups of students, see list below per SB 89, and by the types of offense. The principal of each school shall review the data and take appropriate action and report the data to their district's Board of Trustees each quarter. Per Assembly Bill 490, 2019, NDE will engage stakeholders in the development of standard definitions for offenses and sanctions as required by AB 490 during the 2019-20 school year for implementation during the 2020-21 school year. Each public school, including charter schools, must collect student discipline data, which must be reported annually to NVE through the Automated System of Accountability, Nevada Report Card, page 6 of 8. Be disaggregated into subgroups of students, see list below per SB 89, and will include occurrences of suspension and expulsion as separate offenses. Per Senate Bill 89, 2019, SB 89 adds a new requirement that the annual report of accountability, Nevada Report Card, must include records of the attendance and truancy for students in all grades and information on student discipline, which must be disaggregated by gender as well as pupils who are economically disadvantaged, from major racial and ethnic groups, individuals with disabilities, English learners, migratory children, homeless, in foster care, and whose parent or guardian is a member of the Armed Forces of the United States, a reserve component thereof, or the National Guard. Dates and deadlines for districts and schools. On or before September 15th of each year, the principal of each school must review the district's restorative discipline plan and, in consultation with teachers, school administrators, other educational and support personnel, parents, guardians, and students who are enrolled in the school, make recommendations for revisions to the district's Board of Trustees. On or before November 15th of each year, each district's Board of Trustees shall submit a written report to the Superintendent of Public Instruction that describes the progress made by each school in the district with respect to complying with the requirements of AB 168. The progress report must also be posted on the district's website. Each quarter of each year, the principal of each school must report data related to student discipline to the district's Board of Trustees, which must include, without limitation, the number of expulsions and suspensions of pupils and the number of placements of pupils in another school. Such data must be disaggregated into subgroups of students and types of offense. Timeline for implementation. On or before November 15th, 2019, Each district superintendent shall submit to the superintendent of public instruction the name of one administrator and one teacher who will jointly serve as the district's representatives to a statewide restorative justice planning team, RJPT. This team will convene once in November 2019 and once in January 2020 to provide advice to NDE on how to strengthen support to school communities related to implementation of AB 168. On or before December 15th, 2019, NDE will post to its website sample restorative justice page 7 of 8. Attachment S1, holding a pupil accountable for his or her behavior. 2, restoration or remedies related to the behavior of the pupil. 3, relief for any victim of the pupil. And 4, changing the behavior of the pupil. Quick reference guide to student-level changes of discipline laws. Nevada Report Card 2019-20 school year discipline reporting template sample plan of action based on restorative justice restorative plan of action information action plans, professional development curriculum, models and best practices, and names of consultants or presenters who can provide training on restorative justice for staff and community. Definitions. Battery, NRS 392.466.11, A, NRS 200.481.1, A, means any willful and unlawful use of force or violence upon the person of another. Dangerous weapon, NRS 392.466.11, B, includes, without limitation, a blackjack, slungshot, billy, sand club, sandbag, metal knuckles, dirk or dagger, a nunchaku or trefoil, as defined in NRS 202.350, a butterfly knife or any other knife described in NRS 202.350, a switchblade knife as defined in NRS 202.265, or any other object which is used, or threatened to be used, in such a manner and under such circumstances as to pose a threat of, or cause, bodily injury to a person. Firearm, NRS 392.466.11, C, includes, without limitation, any pistol, revolver, shotgun, explosive substance or device, and any other item included within the definition of a firearm in 18 U.S.C. paragraph 921, as that section existed on July 1, 1995. Habitual disciplinary problem, NRS 392.4655. A principal of a school shall deem a pupil a habitual disciplinary problem if the school has written evidence which documents in one school year that the pupil has threatened or extorted, or attempted to threaten or extort, another pupil or a teacher or other personnel employed by the school 2 or more times, or the pupil has a record of 5 suspensions from the school for any reason, and the pupil has not entered into and participated in a plan of behavior pursuant to subsection 5 of NRS 392.4655. Restorative Justice, AB 168, non-punitive intervention and support provided by the school to a pupil to improve the behavior of the pupil and remedy any harm caused by the pupil. Restorative Disciplinary Practices, SB 89, the restorative discipline plan required by NRS 392.4644 must provide restorative disciplinary practices which include, without limitation, page 8 of 8.
Wow. So I'm just wondering, let me stop the share here. It's going to be critical that we understand that right now they're talking about what's happening with our people, and we're not talking about it. Let me see if I can share the screen one more time. I have to go back here and share this and see if I go back one. I want to go back. I want to go back, and I have to stop the share. And so, I was on the Department of Education's website, so I need to go to here. I don't want to be there. I'm going to go here. Go here. Hmm. Well, let's see if we can do it this way. Because this is crazy. Meetings, gotta go to meetings right here. And let's, I think that's where it's gonna be. Go here. And today is not the 22nd. That's June. Hmm. No, we should not be here then. I'm gonna have to go back to here and go to YouTube. No, I know where I need to go. Facebook. There we go. I know how I got there. That was how I got there. Just give me a minute and I'll be back. Come on now. Mm-hmm. You don't like me there. Back here. Come here. Not there. Not there. Mm-mm. I know what I'm looking for here. Hey, where is there? There we go. Now I want to share the screen. Come back here and share the screen. There we go. Now we'll be on the right page. Now we're on the right page because we're looking for this meeting. Not Wednesday, this one, June the 15th. And look at all the agenda items, competency-based education. And I said, wow, let's just download this. I think I already got it, but do I? Oh, do I? No, I don't. Then let's open it. Show them the Finder. And here we go. Now we can just move this over. Still talking. I want to move this bar though. Edit select all. We're in there. And then we're going to begin to speak.
Personalized competency-based education in Nevada Interim Education Committee, June 15th, 2022. Nevada Department of Education. Knowledge Works globally prepared. Knowledge Work S. Why personalized competency-based education? Why personalized competency-based education at a record high? 84% of public high school students reach graduation, as measured by the Adjusted Cohort Graduation Rate, ACGR, according to the National Center for Education Statistics. According to the National Conference on State Legislators, 28 to 40% of all first-time undergraduates enroll in at least one remedial course. Less than 50% of students complete their remedial courses. Of the career readiness competencies employers deemed as essential in 2016, research from the National 53% Association of Colleges and Employers, they did not rate new graduates as proficient in many. Battleborn asterisk globally prepared for require remedial courses. Complete remedial courses. Nevada post-secondary remediation rate, classes of 2015 on Nevada's graduation rate, 2021, 81%. What is personalized competency-based education? What is personalized competency-based education? For a personalized learning, engaging learning experiences customized to each student's strengths, needs, and interests. Battleborn 7, globally prepared 6. What is personalized competency-based education? For a competency-based education, students advance to higher levels of learning when they demonstrate competency of concepts and skills regardless of time, place, or pace. Battleborn 7, Globally Prepared 7. What is personalized competency-based education? For a personalized competency-based education, PCBL environments share common traits: learner agency, timely, actionable assessments, customized learner supports, progression upon mastery, flexible learning paths, strategies and systems to ensure equity, rigorous academic and social emotional learning targets adapted from the Aurora Institute. Battleborn 7, Globally Prepared 8. What personalized competency-based education is and isn't. Battleborn Globally Prepared 10. What personalized competency-based learning is and isn't. What personalized competency-based learning is not. Not mandated, not new, not a checkbox of activities learners and educators must do, not time-based, not adult-centered, not done well without community engagement. Battleborn Globally Prepared 11. Myths versus facts. Myths versus facts. Myth fact: deadlines are dead in this type of model. Students will spend all day on a computer or tablet. Personalized competency-based learning reduces the role of the teacher. It just isn't possible to personalize instruction for all learners. Students advance based on a class pace set by the teacher, ultimately achieve mastery of the same learning goals when they're ready. Technology is a tool that supports great instruction, and PCBL gives students a chance to learn how they learn best, using technology or other tools. In a PCBL system, teachers are more essential than ever before as they create the structures necessary to help every student meet their personal objectives. School days are structured to ensure all students get what they need, but it doesn't mean there are 25-30 individual lesson plans. Battleborn Globally Prepared 13. Evidence of success. Findings from research. Students in personalized competency-based schools had higher math and reading achievement and caught up to peers faster. Rand, 2015. Personalized competency-based practices like giving additional time on a topic or retaking exams saw students' math confidence increase. AIR, 2016. Personalized competency-based students who were behind meet performance levels at a quicker pace. REL, 2017. Students in personalized competency-based environments engage in school at higher levels. SCLRC, 2018. Personalized competency-based practices correlate with greater teacher satisfaction and less burnout in higher ed. McDavid et al. 2018. Battleborn Globally Prepared IO. Common policy obstacles to overcome. Common policy obstacles. Accountability, bullet, assessment, graduation requirements, funding systems, higher education requirements, real or perceived. Teacher certification. Teacher of record seat time. Battleborn Globally Prepared 17. Work in Nevada so far. Nevada work to date seeds of change. AB 110, 2017. Competency-Based Education Network, CBEN, 2018. Blue Ribbon Commission, 2020, bullet, SB 215, 2021, Battleborn Globally Prepared 19. Nevada Work to Date Seeds of Change. Battleborn Globally Prepared 20. Opportunity Analysis. Fall 2021. Deep Research Process, bullet, 12 Policy Conditions. Recommendations. Nevada Work to Date Opportunity Analysis. Grounded in Futures Thinking. Vision and Kickoff, November 2021. Ongoing Process. Nevada Future of Learning Vision and Guide Seeds of Change. Visioning. Battleborn Globally Prepare 21. Opportunity Analysis. Bullet, Action Planning. Grounded in Vision and OA. Open to the public. 260 participants. 100 plus participants from schools and district offices. Summit, May 17th. Battle Born Globally Prepared 22 Seeds of Change Visioning Z. What we've learned so far, stakeholders at all levels of the system want change and are also exhausted from the past 2 years. People want a system that works more cohesively and involves those closest to the work. People want to help develop shared goals, portrait of a graduate competencies, and a structure for working together. Network Battle Born Globally Prepared 23. Next steps. Network launch Battle Born Globally Prepared 25 Seeds of Change Visioning NV Future of Learning Network Opportunity Analysis Action Planning. Nevada Future of Learning Network. Structure of statewide collaboration in learning. Multiple entry points for schools and districts at all levels of readiness. Educators are core to the development of the state system. Space for system leaders to connect to the work happening in the field. Battle Born Globally Prepared 26. State Policy Contact Information. Juliana Charles Brown, Director of Systems Transformation, BROWNJC, at KnowledgeWorks.org. Lillian Pace, Vice President of Policy and Advocacy, Pace L, at KnowledgeWorks.org. John Alfuth, Director of State Policy, ALFUTHJ, at KnowledgeWorks.org. KnowledgeWorks Battle Born Globally Prepared 27. Reference slides as needed. Why personalized competency-based education, automation, and AI will accelerate skill shifts based on McKinsey Global Institute Workforce Skills Model. United Steels, all sectors, 2030 top higher cognitive skills. Growth mindset. Critical thinking and problem solving. Communication. Innovation and creativity. Leadership top technological skills. Programming. Cloud computing, business intelligence, AI-related skills, quantum computing. Evolution in skill categories. Percent of time change in hours worked. Percent difference 2000-16 skill categories: physical and manual skills, basic cognitive skills, higher cognitive skills, social and emotional skills. 26. Calul Labot using THO 2004 to 20 CAGR extrapolated TO 4 YOAR PO raw note based on difference between hours worked per SK in 2016 modeled hours worked in 2030. Numbers may not sum due to rounding. Source, lieutenants. Bernau EF Labor Statatka. McKinsey Global Inato Work for Skills Model. McKinsey Global Institute Analysis. Battle Born 7. Globally Prepared 22 F 5 seconds. What PCBL is in traditional education. Students are expected to master grade level college and career ready standards. Students advance at educators' pace regardless of mastery or needing additional time. Competency-based learning. Q students are expected to master competencies aligned to college and learning career-ready standards with clear, continuum transferable learning objectives. Students receive customized supports both in school and out of school to ensure they stay on pace to graduate college and career-ready. Battle Born Globally Prepared 30. What PCBL is in traditional education versus competency-based learning. Battle Born Globally Prepared 31. What PCBL is in assessments that set times to evaluate and classify students. One opportunity to take the summative assessment at the end of the year. Grades are norm-referenced, reflect course standards, are typically based on weighted quarters and a final exam. Traditional education. Battle Born Globally Prepared assessment system. A comprehensive assessment system is an essential part of the learning system. Formative assessments guide daily instruction. Summative assessments show mastery, taken when ready, and multiple chances to demonstrate mastery. Grades reflect the degree of mastery of competencies. If students do not earn course credit, records indicate competencies that need to be relearned instead of the entire course. Competency-based learning grading policies versus 32. Findings from research, more extensive. Students in PCBL schools made greater student achievement gains in math and reading, and students who were behind are catching up. Rand, 2015. Students being able to have more time or retake an exam in math saw self-efficacy increase AIR.
Wow. I'm just going to say that what they've been doing is just going and getting people's information across America, and look at the dates. This is going to be released tomorrow, I believe, not today. And so what are we talking about? I'm just, concerned about what Nevada's actually doing. I'm not going to subscribe to the journal, but
learn the stuff. It just seemed like everyone, they were just going by the books, going by the salary, going by the standards. It's either if you're like in AP classes, they would prepare for college, because I was just taking standards classes, So they're just like, here it is, you might go to college, but it's not, they're like, it's not my problem.
I decided to take this class because I really didn't give much effort in my SAT scores, and the math was the only thing that kind of brought me down. Sunrise Mountain, the high school that I graduated from, for math, I would say.
wow. I think we just need to do a little bit more, don't you? Meaning more engagement from the local community. This is ridiculous what they're trying to do. They're pushing stuff out and it has no relevance to anything. And they're still letting the principal be the only man that makes a judgment on an IEP team. Seriously, where is the data? I don't see any data. Do you? Well, I'm going to come back because there's so much more on that agenda. But this is a meeting. It's really not a meeting. It's just an announcement. Y'all need to pay attention until we meet again, y'all. Like, subscribe, and follow me.